How much of Glasgow can I see in 4 hours? So I am in the city of Glasgow this afternoon. I've been here for a conference and I've done a couple of tours around the city, but now I'm just exploring a little bit on my own, and I want to try and fit as many Glasgow attractions as possible into this video. So I have a good idea of what I want to see. I've got a Google Maps map with pins on it of all the places that I would like to visit in these 4 hours, and let's see how many I can tick off. So I'm currently just outside the Gallery of Modern Art right in the middle of Glasgow, and in the gallery is a really beautiful building, and I think it's got quite a nice collection inside, but what it's actually most famous for is the statue of the Duke of Wellington, which is outside. Now this is just a normal statue of the 19th century Duke of Wellington, but it's most famous because it always has a cone on its head. The guide earlier told us that the statue has had a cone on its head pretty much continuously since the 19th century, and they used to take it down and then people would just put it back up, and eventually they kind of just gave in, and now it just pretty much permanently has a cone on its head. Sometimes they even have like themed cones, so it's really become a feature of the city, and it's actually become something that Glasgow is quite famous for. We've just taken a little walk down and I've got the Mercat cross behind me. There was one of these in Aberdeen as well, and this is where the market used to be held. So this was always one of the main like thoroughfares of Glasgow, and to be honest it still is today. So you've got the Mercat cross here, and then I'm looking at Tolbooth Steeple. So Tolbooth Steeple was the historic toll booth where people would pay their tolls, but I learned earlier that it was also the site of public executions. There were public executions here until the 19th century. The last public execution here was a man called Dr. Edward Pritchard, who poisoned his wife and mother-in-law with arsenic. So just behind me is a monument that is dedicated to Glasgow doing the Commonwealth Games. So Glasgow was the host city for the Commonwealth Games in 2014. So just behind me is the People's Palace, and this is a history museum. It actually focuses on Glaswegian people and social history going back to around the 18th century. However, unfortunately at the moment, as of June 2024, it is closed for about another year and a half. So I'm sure it'll be great to see once it's reopened, but for the moment and for a little while, yeah, not possible unfortunately. But one thing that is good to know about Glasgow's museums, all of the museums that are operated by Glasgow Life are free to enter, and they are proud of them being free, so while donations are welcome, they're by no means expected. So if you walk around Glasgow for long enough, you'll find one of these police boxes. There are quite a few that are based throughout the city now. I think there is a Doctor Who connection. Pretty sure I remember my guide saying earlier that someone from Doctor Who was involved in producing Doctor Who graduated from Glasgow University, and that's part of the reason why they've restored the police boxes, but off the top of my head I can't quite remember the exact logistics. If anyone knows, please drop me a message down in the comments and let me know what the actual history is behind these. But a lot of them have been restored now, so there's some that sell coffee, I think there's one that sells falafel, so they've become quite a much loved icon of the city now. So here you've got a story about a man called Gavin Williams. It's quite interesting. He was captured by Barbary pirates, but it says that this was Gavin Williams's house, and behind it is the Moxie Hotel. So I'm not sure if that means that he was born in the Moxie Hotel, if he was born on the site of the Moxie Hotel, I don't know. So this is the St Mungo Museum of Religious Life and Art, another free museum, but we are heading over here to the Glasgow Cathedral. We've made it to Glasgow Cathedral, which is a bit of a walk out the city centre. So this cathedral dates back to the 12th century, and it's not huge, but it's quite a striking building. It's got some really nice stained glass windows. You can visit for free, so I might pop in and have a little look around the inside, but I also want to take a little look at the necropolis, which sits just behind Glasgow Cathedral. So this cathedral built up on the site of St Mungo's tomb, and apparently the tomb is still here. We've just gone down into the lower cathedral where it does say you can see it, although we've not found it yet. this was originally a Catholic cathedral, but during the Reformation in 1560, I think it was, it became a Protestant kirk, and it is the only cathedral on the Scottish mainland to have survived the Reformation intact. So this is Glasgow Necropolis, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, Victorian graveyard in the country. So it's a huge Victorian cemetery and dates back to the 19th century when Glasgow started developing a lot as a city, and it became a huge industrial city. It was actually known as the second city of the empire because it was so big and there was so much industry going on here. And a lot of people migrated over either from Ireland or from the Highlands. So all of a sudden there were so many people and there wasn't enough space for, well, the whole city was crowded, but also the cemeteries got more and more crowded. So they created this necropolis which sprawls all the way up a hill. It's really striking when you see it. Huge Victorian style gravestones. It really reminds me, there's a very similar one in Bristol. But yeah, interesting site and a very unique site for a British city. Right, we have to go back up. Went the wrong way. Went down some steps that didn't lead anywhere, so not back up now. But you could definitely like spend like a good hour or so walking around here. It looks like it's really big, but we've not got that much time. We need to go over to the West End to show you what there is there. We're just seeking out the metro station, but behind me is City Chambers, and behind that is like the main square of Glasgow. So we actually went to City Chambers for a drinks reception on Monday night, which was very nice. Kind of the main area where all of the main events of the city happen. I don't know why, but I'm really excited about getting the subway. So we are getting it to Hillhead. The Glasgow subway is one of only 3 in the UK. Obviously there's the London Underground and there's also the Tyne-and-Wear Metro and Glasgow. And Glasgow is also the 3rd oldest in the world. The oldest in the world is actually London and the 2nd oldest is Budapest. Can you just So 2 fun facts about the Metro. One is that the students kind of do a metro crawl where they get on the Metro, get off at every stop, go to a pub, get back on, and they do that for the whole route because it's a circular route. Yeah, it's quite easy to sort of do the whole crawl. And also the stations were all built on hills. When the train approaches the station it goes uphill, which slows it down, and when it departs the station it goes downhill, which speeds it up. Might not affect it so much anymore, but back in the day that meant that it saved quite a lot of coal and fuel. Made it to the grounds of Glasgow University, and this is the 4th oldest university in the UK. It dates back to 1451. Now there's a few things that you can do around the university area. There's the Mackintosh House, which is where Charles Rennie Mackintosh lived, and has like lots of furniture that's inspired from the time and inspired from his designs. Then there is also the Hunterian Art Gallery, which is kind of attached to Mackintosh House. There's also the Kelvin Groves Museum, and I went into this the other day actually, and it's really, really striking inside, and it's a huge museum with art exhibitions and natural history exhibitions, and like the rest of the museums in Glasgow it is free to enter and have a look around. These things here, that was for when the horse and carts used to come, and the wheels would have to match up exactly with these like studs, and if they didn't then they'd fire the driver of the horse and cart. All of these buildings were professor accommodation. These days they are like seminar lecture rooms, but the professors used to actually live here. And I mean, back in the day when they were built, I think there were only about 13 professors because they taught a lot less subjects. But obviously these days there are many more professors and they don't live here. The principal could still live here if they wanted to, in the principal's house, which is just in front of me, but they don't. I think they'd rather live at home. Maybe not. And we've made it to the cloisters. So this is a part of Glasgow University. Actually at the moment people are graduating, all the graduation decorations up and everything, but it is actually owned by the city of Glasgow. It's all public access and you can come here 24/7. So if you want to see University of Glasgow and all of the places we just saw, you can do a tour. It takes about an hour. I think it's £10 per person, and £8 for concessions, I believe. I think they run daily and they're bookable on the website, or you can actually just go in and speak to someone and book onto whatever tour there is next. So the last stop on our little afternoon tour of Glasgow is the Indian restaurant where apparently the chicken tikka masala was invented. So if you don't know, chicken tikka masala is the national dish of the UK, and it is obviously Indian inspired, but it was actually created in Scotland by an Indian chef. So we are on the hunt to find it. We are vegetarian, so we won't be having chicken tikka masala, but they do like vegetable tikka masala. So we've got some sort of like sag paneer dish here. We've got a huge garlic bread. Then this is a like spicy vegetable, I can't remember what it was called. And then this is the tikka masala. Really good. I am now at Glasgow Airport. Flight is at least half an hour delayed, probably more like an hour delayed, which is quite tiring as it was already a 10 p.m. flight, so I was already not going to land until 11. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too much delayed. I think the EasyJet flight was late departing Rome, and then it was late departing Bristol to fly to Glasgow, and now it's late departing Glasgow again to fly back to Bristol. But never mind, I'm sure I will get there at some point. So I'm going to round off this video here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of the best things to do in Glasgow. Obviously I didn't cover everything. If I've missed anything, I mean, I know I've missed things, but let me know in the comments what I've missed and what I will have to do next time I'm in the city. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!